There is a big confusion that studying means to pass the exams. Consequently, we attribute the title to someone who is educated as a degree holder and vice versa. This means that if somebody has a degree, then that person must also be educated. It's fair, isn't it? However, this is where education system itself has failed. Human beings always love to take shortcuts. While being educated is a state motivated by curiosity, getting a degree is a state motivated by status. And this is a huge chasm. Those who designed our current educational system did the best they could to bridge this chasm with a system of syllabus, teachers, exams, and the final degree. In an ideal world, those who were able to learn the best would score the highest marks. In this way, they would get all the privileges and the authority that a learned person should get. But we don't live in an ideal world, and as I just told you, human beings love to take shortcuts. So instead of learning to get high marks, students and teachers began to learn the game of exams to get high marks. What happened is that education died and competition survived. Consequently, what we have are students that have degrees but no education, let alone applying what they have studied in the real world. They can't even exhibit the skills, data, and facts that they have used to score high marks after the exams are over, just down the line a year or two later. So, in this book, I want to lay the foundation for real education. This means that we are seriously learning the syllabus as if it was really important and not just for passing the exams or getting A plus. Especially today in the age where TikTok and YouTube influencers are earning millions cracking jokes, making viral videos, it has become very difficult to convince students that education is real and you must work hard in your school days and college in order to be able to succeed in life. They just brush it off, thinking that it's a chore or passage of right that they just need to complete in order to actually start living and doing something about being successful in life. This disconnect of education and success is alarming. The main reason is that the syllabus that is being taught till today is outdated and has not factored the psychology of Generation Z and Alpha. We have to change the syllabus. That is, we have to change the way the subjects are taught. The subjects in the syllabus are not wrong at all. The approach is wrong. However, students can't differentiate between the what and the how. So they reject the whole thing, that is the syllabus itself. In this book, I want to describe the correct way to teach Generation Z and Alpha and the later generations. Because the subjects are not the problem, I will be using the same subjects in this book also. The only difference is that in this book, I'll be using the four brain learning approach, whereas earlier in the current educational system, they are only using the blue brain learning approach based on skills. This we have discussed in earlier chapters extensively. So let me talk to you about the 12 subjects that I have chosen for this book, which are extremely relevant and they will always be, at least until the end of civilization. The most important subject, which constitute the original building block, or you can say the brick, for any kind of learning, is language. Because in most of the world, English is either the first or the second language. I will be using English in this book, but it could be any language. Without a language, there cannot be any kind of learning. Even to learn mathematics, you need to start with a language. The second most important subject is mathematics. It is another fundamental building block or brick using which we will be able to learn more in life. The arithmetic operators like plus, minus, into, and divide are an utmost necessity for us to handle the numerical complexities in our daily lives. The algebraic function whereby we can find the value of a parameter based on its relationship to other known parameters is also essential part of logical thinking. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. This might seem simple, but it requires us to master mathematical skills. Once we are well versed in the languages and mathematics, the remaining 10 subjects can be conquered, explored, and mastered. Of course, the more we know about English and mathematics, the easier for us would it be to master the other subjects and even other fields like business or even relationships. If we can understand complex sentences when we read a passage in English, or if we can solve a mathematical equation, then the same brain wiring will help us understand and solve problems in business and relationships. Another subject that I have chosen in this book is accounts and finance. I know so many students who have gotten A plus in accounts, but when it comes to balancing their accounts in business and relationships, they have no skills, and certainly it's because they could not translate what they learned in school or college to the real life situations. Everybody wants to become rich, and this we have established in the first chapter itself. But how can you be rich without knowing accounts and finance? The next subject I've chosen is geography. I'm amazed at even adults in Generation Z who don't know where is north, south, east, west. They know that there is a thing called Richter scale, but they have no idea what are the tectonic plates. We have stories where the European invaders duped the South American Mayans with their knowledge of the eclipse, but without geographical knowledge, most people have no idea of how eclipses occur or how mountains form. We talk about global warming, but what it is it actually? Knowing geography will definitely help us in life, even to survive if we somehow get stranded in a desert or in the middle of the ocean because of a plane crash. Next, I have chosen history. What we are today is because of what we were yesterday or what happened yesterday. The future is highly dependent on the past. Students must learn not only to memorize dates and place and names of history, but they must be able to enjoy the stories, the real stories of history, and the moral, the plot, the themes, the settings that history gives us. Even in a marital relationship. The main reason the couple cannot overcome their conflict is because they do not know how to investigate the history of each of the partners. First of all, they don't know that the history of their spouse has any relevance to their current behavior. Even an entrepreneur must know the history of his particular sector or product or service that he wants to sell if he wants to make it big. Law is another very important subject that is not readily taught, but I'll be incorporating it in this book. We live in a society where there is law. Why is it needed and how does it work? We need to know rather than specific laws. We need to start with the general concept of law itself and the legal system. In today's litigious society, any student with knowledge in law will have higher success of not getting in trouble or being trapped with the knowledge of law subject. Although statistics is part of mathematics, I have taken it as a different subject because it is so important. The averages, probability, range, percentages, percentile, correlation, causation, frequencies, distribution are all not only terms to memorize for the exams, but they are real concepts that we need in order to live on a day-to-day basis. What is the probability that I will get into a traffic jam if I take a certain route? What's the average height of boys in my area or country, and am I above average or below average? All those and many more questions can only be answered through statistics skills. But again, like I said in accounting, they must be translated to other fields like business and relationships. This is what this book will teach you how to do using the four brain learning approach. Then I have chosen economics. This subject is so important and affects everybody's lives that I cannot understand why it is made so boring and complicated. There are many modern writers like Dubner and Levitt, who wrote the book series called Freakonomics, who have proven that economics applies everywhere and it helps us make the proper decisions in our lives. I cannot reach their height in economics knowledge, but through this book, I want to provide the utmost trampoline on which people can jump and have fun. Of course, the trampoline is the four brain learning approach of economics. The next subjects I chose are of the sciences, namely physics, biology, chemistry. They are not that important that without knowing them, your life will be screwed. Nonetheless, knowing about them can make your life less miserable. I'm not talking about physical misery, I'm talking about intellectual, emotional, and spiritual misery, by the way. By learning those science subjects, you'll be able to look at the world in a scientific way. Also, you'll be able to understand your own diseases or even how accident occurs and how medicines work. I'm sure you guessed it. Each of those questions are answered by biology, physics, and chemistry, respectively. Finally, I'll be talking about computer science. We live in a world of artificial intelligence. We are even way past the word digital world. It's a given now. But how is that world made? What is a computer? How does it work? And what we can do is not only for programmers or software engineers to know. Instead, it's for every person to know. We are better off knowing how electric signals of 0 and 1 have enabled all those videos on YouTube, TikTok, and even the control of satellites to work seamlessly. The knowledge of computers is as important now as knowing your physical body, because it's such an important part of our lives that we cannot do without nowadays. By computer, I mean, of course, the mobile phone also. In this way, I have listed the 12 subjects that I'll be covering in this book and the reason why I chose them. I will talk more deeply, extensively about each of them in the respective chapter using the four brain learning approach, as opposed to the current skill quadrant or blue quadrant based approach. None of those 12 subjects are useless. Of course, if you are not interested in one or more of them, it's okay if you do not read that particular chapter. However, I want to emphasize that I've made it highly readable, that is, each of the chapters. Mastering those 12 subjects, just as much as what will be outlined in this book, is a great start for a successful and happy life. If you are going to pursue your bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD, the material that I've put in this book will be useful for you to understand other subjects like marketing, leadership, microbiology, botany, hydraulics, advanced mathematics, literature, cybersecurity, and so on. If English and mathematics are the building blocks of all the subjects, then these 12 subjects are the building blocks of your own lives and careers.